Welcome to the Observe Day podcast, the show where we celebrate the days that matter. From holidays to meaningful observances, we bring you inspiring conversations, stories, and ideas to make each day count. Whether it's raising awareness, learning something new, or simply sparking joy, this is your space to explore the calendar in a whole new way. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I'm excited to share today's observance with you. Let's dive in. Helene Gidley is someone who has spent decades helping people move from overwhelm to clarity. As the founder of A2 Agile and the creator of the art of Agile living, she's built a practical approach to getting work done that's rooted in real life, not perfection. Clean off your desk day is a fitting moment to talk with Helen because for her, organization isn't about having an empty surface. It's about creating space to think, decide, and move forward with intention. With over 40 years in the IT and Agile world, Helen brings a grounded human perspective on how small changes, like how we manage our decks, can ripple into how we manage our time, energy, and stress. Welcome to the podcast, Helen.
Thank you so much, Wisdom. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, when we clean off your desk day comes around, what does
Yeah.
it personally make you notice about your own work habits or state of mind?
Yes, work habits in particular. I think for me, cleaning off the desk day is the great opportunity to start to get all of those things that I've had planning to do, but never really got to.
Yeah,
And for a lot of us, though, those things that you have, maybe they're on physically on your desk, and for a lot of us, they're in our heads, right? We haven't even written them down yet, but we've put them up in here like, oh, I need to get to cleaning the garage, or
yeah,
fixing that room up, or fixing that painting, or just some project that we've had that we've not taken the time to even get to. And so it becomes a sense of mental clarity as well, right? That clean your desk day is I clean the area and maybe clean your head. So for me, the work habits immediately get me to writing things down. And for me, writing things down is not just on a long sheet of paper with like a checklist items that for me is just as overwhelming as if I had everything in my head that I'm carrying around with me. Because
yeah,
that long checklist stares at you and it's like taunting you that you have all of this work to do and you're not getting it done. And my method is I write everything down, but I put everything on a little 1 inch by 2 inch sticky note. And
okay,
yes, I mean 1 inch by 2 inch. They're small.
yeah,
And they're purposely small, right? Because I want to make sure the work that I represent on these are small items so that I can get them done,
yeah,
right? Not paint the garage. No, how about let's start breaking it down to select the paint, go get sample colors, try a few out, clean out one section of the garage, clean the next section, clean the next section, take it a piece at a time because you know it's a big job. And the big jobs don't get done, but little jobs do. So
wow,
for me, that's the personal habit. The first thing that I start doing is I look at those items that I haven't gotten to yet, and I start to write them down. And you can see as I was describing that fictitious garage cleaning that it's a big project, and I start breaking it into little pieces. And that's the little things are the ones that get done. So for
wow.
me, those are my personal habits.
Yeah, well, I'm curious. Can you remember a moment when a cluttered desk or cluttered space clearly mirrored how overwhelmed you were feeling at work or in life?
Absolutely. Oh gosh. So many times. And for me, I spent many years as a project manager in the information technology space. And project managers often manage more than one project when you work for an organization, as I did at working for these really large corporations. And I would find myself just overwhelmed with the amount of tasks. And that was where the desk, and in those cases, it was like the virtual desk was cluttered. I had project A and I had all of my to-do tasks that I'm managing for project A, project B, all of those tasks, project C, and all of those tasks, and trying to find what really is the next big thing to do, what's the most important thing to be working on, and to make sure all of the work was happening. I'm looking in more than one place and I'm starting to just feel overwhelmed. right? I've got task lists everywhere, and then I'm still managing teams and helping them, and I'm helping them write out their task lists and managing when you manage projects, you're basically managing a big, huge task list of stuff that everybody has to do. And that's when I was starting to feel really overwhelmed. And it was working for one of those large corporations that had me first explore, gosh, what if I took like all of those to-do lists and started to put them into just one? And particularly, what am I working on, like maybe this today and tomorrow, like a couple of days in front of me. And that was where I started moving things from all of those disparate places to a physical sheet of paper with like little tasks, bigger than what I have now. But I was exploring. I think there was more of a 4x6 sheet of
Yeah.
paper, big paper, and I just started writing tasks down. And I hung it in my cube, and that was what I was focusing on. And that was the big difference from every tasks lists everywhere, all over on different IT, computer systems. I had to switch between screens to get to them, to one list in front of me all the time. And that's what started to make the difference. That's learning that visibility and how important it is to have what you're working on now and the most important things that you need to get done in front of you all the time, so that it doesn't become the out of sight becomes out of mind, right? I wanted
Yeah.
an insight in mind, what I need to work on now.
Oh, I'm curious, how did your relationship with physical clutter change as you developed the art of agile living?
How did my relationship with,
Physical clutter change as you
oh, the whole
developed
physical
the
clutter?
art of the art of
Yes, and
agile living.
yes, and so you're hearing me talk about sticky notes and paper, and I bet there is a number of people that are starting to scream that, "Oh, no. No, 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 not more paper. I wanna get rid of it." And the real big difference between my method, the art of agile living, and so many others that are going to tell you about using sticky notes, and you start to feel like you're walking around with sticky notes all over you and all
Yeah.
that clutter, is that I have a method for handling that. So it's not a clutter all over you. So for me, and I know for the different modes that you may be looking at me, I've got a sheet of paper I can put in front of you. And
Yeah.
what it is a sheet of printer paper. It has the word Monday written on it. And I start to put on my Monday all of my task items, the small 1.5 by
Yeah.
2 inch sticky
I see the
notes.
sticky notes. Yeah.
So I have Monday, I have a sheet of paper for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. So suddenly now you start to see. So yeah, I have everything in all these sticky notes. I put them where I'm going to get them done. They're not all to be done today. Some are tomorrow, some are the next day, some are the next. So I have a place for that quote clutter. That's the printer paper, the 8x10, printer paper. I have
Yeah.
a sheet of paper that's called a backlog for those things that I'm not doing this week, but that are coming up soon. That's where all of the other clutter goes. And I prioritize things. The top of the sheet, top left corner of my sheet is what I'm working on right now.
Before we dive deeper, I'd love to invite you to join the Observe Day newsletter. Every week, I send you highlights of upcoming observances, creative ways to celebrate, and behind the scenes extras from the shows. It's the perfect way to stay inspired and never miss a meaningful moment. Sign up today at observeday.com/join. That is observeday.com/join. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
If you look at my Monday today, the top thing on the list is the podcast. That's what
Wow.
I'm doing right now.
I'm
So
on
there
the
you are.
list. I'm on the
You're
list.
you're on the list. You
I
made the
made the
list.
list.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's how I manage it, right? The most important things are on that sheet of paper right in front of me right now. All of the rest of that clutter has a home. I either place it where I'm planning to do it this week, and not a hard and fast plan. Things might move based on what happens in life, but I have an initial plan, and I've got it covered. And what's not happening this week, I have it in a sheet that it's called backlog. And that's where all the other things go. And I work to try to prioritize those. Like, well, that's going to be coming up in the next week or two. So that shows up higher on the left hand side. and then I work my way down in rows to
Oh,
help tame that clutter. So it's not all over the desk. I don't have sticky notes all over me. They're not plastered all over on my computer, right? They have a home, and I have a method for dealing with it, right? Of
oh,
handling my daily work, a weekly plan, and I replan every week, right? Pulling things from that backlog, adding new things as they've come up, and I build my task list that way. And I get things off the desk into some manageable process.
oh, oh. I'm curious, right?
Mhm.
Has there been a time where clearing your desk, right, led to a bigger shift, like a new decision or a way of working?
Has there been a way of clearing my desk that led to like a new way of working? And I think that's for me. Oh, well, the one way is, and I'll share with you the holiday event.
Okay, okay,
We were talking about this just before the podcast. So I
yeah,
have this. So I live in the United States, and if I'm sure most of the world knows, the United States has this big thing happening every November. We call it Thanksgiving. So it's this big holiday, and we make a big deal of it. We usually have family come over, so you have to have that traditional meal. So for us, it's turkey, and you have to have all the stuffing and potatoes and different food items, and you bring out the family china, and you bring out all of fancy silverware, like, so you make a big deal of it. You're setting the table, and you're running around all day like crazy, getting your house ready and getting the food and everything ready for your guests to come over. And there's a lot of stress. And for me, that was a case where I'd always felt I seemed to handle it. Uh, it seemed wrong, right? As an agilist, here I have people coming over to the house, and they almost always ask, right? When people show up for a big party and event, one of the first questions most people ask is, "How can I help?" And so many of us, our answer is, "Oh, nothing at all. Don't do anything. I've got it covered. Just go sit down, go be comfortable."
yeah,
Generally, that's not true, right? That was my comment as an agilist. It's not true. I don't have it all covered. I've got a million things I'm trying to do, and I would love the help, but I just couldn't imagine of what I could give you or ask you to do and to help. And that was the big revelation that I had, that when I started using this art of agile living, I realized, there's a way that I can help have people participate. And so I created a very large, using poster board, what I call a board, a Thanksgiving board. And I started taking all of those things that I had to do to get ready for Thanksgiving, and I put
yeah,
them on sticky notes, right? And then I put them up on the board, and everything down to setting the table, and putting pouring water in glasses, put wine in glasses, cook the turkey, and mashed potatoes, preparing mashed potatoes. I mean, everything down to making coffee and serving pie at the end. And when people then came in, and usually their family, right? So Thanksgiving is one of these that's mostly you have your family and extended family come over and close friends. So when they asked that first Thanksgiving, "What can I do to help?" I pointed them at the board and said, "Pick something."
yeah,
And lo and behold, they did. They did pick things, and they started grabbing things off the list. "Oh, I can go set the table. Oh, just tell me where things are, and I'll go get the chairs up from the other room and set them around. And where's your tablecloth?" And well, next thing I know, all of the work's getting done, and everybody is feeling like they're contributing,
yeah,
right? And so now when we sit down to the meal, and you have this beautiful table set, and everything is gone just beautifully, and then the food's all ready, everybody realized they also helped make that happen. They were participating. And that was the big revelation. That was one way of kind of clearing that clutter of like all this stuff that I had to do, and this willingness to let go just a little bit, and let people help. And it became far more enjoyable for us. And now this is how all events happen at our house.
wow, oh, that's
um,
that's
but
that's a
yes,
great shift.
yeah, it really is. And the real advantage, right, is my daughter-in-law now follows this method. And when we showed up at her house for, I think it was a birthday party for my granddaughter, she was turning 1. And so my daughter-in-law and son-in-law had us come over early. And what did I see up on her wall?
Sticky notes.
The big to-do list and all the little sticky notes. And it was like, yay. Okay, great. I don't even have to ask what I could do to help. I just went over to the wall and started picking things. And that was just so heartwarming that I could see it being used. And she saw that it was so valuable that she did not have to do everything, right? She could open it up and just let go a little bit of the control and your willingness to let other people participate. And it was just wonderful. So yes, there's one very great example of kind of letting go and letting yourself experience a bit more relaxation during some of these big events.
Yeah, from an AGI perspective, why does visual clutter tend to like slow people down more than they expect? And before you answer that question, what exactly is AGI? Like I've been using that word.
What exactly is Agile? That's a great question. So Agile really started as a method for the software development industry to make better software. They're discovering better ways to write code for building software. And the whole concept of Agile is make things small, deliver more done items that are smaller pieces of the big item, right? So
Yeah,
to deliver things small, have visibility, and be willing to fail and fail faster and learn from it. So being willing to make some mistakes. And that all comes down to just breaking the work down into small bits, delivering something and learning from it. So that's a big part of Agile, and that recognition that I don't have to have everything planned out perfectly, but I start experimenting and trying things a little at a time.
yeah,
So it started in the software industry, and so many of us realized that actually I can use a lot of these techniques outside of the software industry, right? I can take some of that technique, that concept, these principles of flexibility, openness, visibility, of getting my work in front of me, and that willingness to adapt to change. And I can use that for, gosh, managing my personal work and
yeah.
managing my personal lives. And that's what Agile really is, right? It's kind of a frame of mind that I can apply to so many different applications.
Okay. So the question is, from that perspective, from agile perspective, why does visual clutter tend to slow people down more than they expect?
So why does visual
Clutter, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
clutter. Yeah, why does visual clutter slow you down? Um, so that it's about focus, right? And I think we're learning this, especially in today's age, where it is so easy for us to lose focus. We're being bombarded by email messages that are coming in, and text messages, and little pop-up messages, and then a Slack message comes, and then something dings, something happens on the
yeah.
we were constantly barraged with so many things vying for our attention that we are beginning to lose focus. And I think a lot of us recognize that. And so it's the I'll call it visual clutter as well as all of the clutter around us. We lose our focus. And just what is it like? How long can you spend working on one item independently without interruption? Well, these days, right? We used to talk about, oh, how many hours could you spend? Oh my gosh, these days it's minutes. How many minutes can you really spend working on one thing by yourself, uninterrupted? And I'm saying uninterrupted, where you're not looking at something that just did a little ding on your screen,
Butterfly.
right? And there's a butterfly went by, right? No, right?
Ah,
How long can you spend not being interrupted? And it's that interruption that's the real difficult part, right? Where you lose your focus, like you're in the zone of working on something, but you lose your focus. Something dings and you look away. Well, now you have to come back to where were you? And every time that you have to leave what you're working on, you get distracted and then you come back, you have to kind of reload. Where was I? What was I working on? And what great thought did I just have that, oh, now I forgot, right? That's multitasking. And that's the negative impact of that multitasking, of this this clutter around me and I'm constantly getting distracted and I cannot get the time I need to just be focused on one thing to get it done. And that's that again, it helps support that the focus is small tasks.
Yeah.
I only get a few minutes. If I say 5 minutes or 10 minutes is my time, then make your tasks that small. The real heavy desk tasks that you need to work on that require great attention. I'm cleaning the garage and I get interrupted a little bit, fine. Right.
Wow.
But if I'm trying to write a book, I'm trying to write a report or do some data analysis, do some research, I need my mind in that space and not being interrupted. And every time I'm interrupted, I have to kind of come back to it. So that visual clutter really hurts in our ability to stay focused. And staying focused is what allows us to get things done.
Just as a final question, why do you think so many productivity systems ignore the physical environment we work in?
Because they want to sell their product. I really, it's so right. They want to
uh,
sell this tool, and there's nothing to sell other than going to buy a Post-it note from
yeah.
3M or whomever and printer paper, right? So, but I think it's also this desire, this feeling like, oh, but we are evolved humans. We have computer systems. Computers are good. They save us time. And I think it's a fallacy, right? There is that sense that, oh, the computer can analyze things faster. But when it comes to managing yourself and your time and your work, I don't think computers help. Then there's one last thing that I'll talk about, and that's called the doorway effect. So, in brief, every time you walk through a doorway, you
Okay.
lose 20% of your short-term memory.
Ooh.
Every time you walk through a door. Now think about it when you're home. Think about it when you're at the office. And you'll go from one area like your desk and walk over to another area if you have to go, many hallways down in the building.
Yeah.
Every time you walk through a doorway, you lose 20% of your short-term memory, which is why you can wind up in a completely different part of the building or your house and stand there and go, "Why am I here?"
Yeah.
Oh, I
Why am
forgot.
I here?
It's not a senior moment. It's not, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting old." No, no, it's called the doorway effect, and it's a real thing. Look it up.
Yeah.
And it happens when you think of it, if you think of human evolution, right? If, you kind of walk from a forest to an open prairie, well, your focus has to change because you're now in a different environment, and you're now looking around of like, are there any, is there a prey? Am I becoming the prey or am I a predator? Right? What
Yeah.
what do I need to focus on? And that's true when you walk from one room to the other. The environment has changed. What do you need to focus on as you shift? So that doorway effect has a real impact on our physical world. Do you think it has an impact on the digital world as well? Yes, yes, it does. Think about it. The next time that you open up your laptop on your computer to go do something, you say, oh, I'm going to make this note. I'm going to add this to my task list. And 20 minutes later, you close your computer and you walk away and you never got to adding that to your task list.
Oh.
Why? Right, right. Well, you got those pop-ups to sign on. Oh gosh, I forgot my password. Oh, I fat fingered it. Oh, okay. Now look, that email coming. Oh, that package is going to come tomorrow. Oh, they got back to me. Right? You get
Yeah.
immediately distracted. Every pop-up window that is on your screen is a window or a doorway, and that doorway effect has the same effect on you. Right? Every time that you have to open up a new pop-up window or deal with a new distraction, you're dumping short-term memory. So that's why it's another main reason why I don't think that the electronic software, the productivity tools really help, because you're immediately bombarded with pop-up windows and doorway effects just to get to the software. And you've already lost it.
Yeah.
Where I don't lose anything by writing something on a little sheet of paper, right? All I
Yeah.
have to do is find a pen.
Wow.
Okay, I've got a pen, I've got paper, I got it. I'm not distracted, and I can manage it and process it. So
Wow.
that's my 2 cents, doorway effect.
Yeah. Where can listeners learn more about this concept and also connect with you?
Yeah. You can learn more about all of this at artofagileliving.com. I welcome you to also read my book, The Art of Agile Living, which is available on Amazon worldwide. where I cover all of these concepts, right
Yeah.
from the holiday scheduling magic to the doorway effect to how to break your work down and how to manage it. To unclutter your life. So feel free to both of those places, artofagileliving.com. It also has a link to the book. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Helene Gidley on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to connect with you.
I'll put the link in the description so the listeners can just click and go there to the site. Once again, thank you so much, Helen. It's been a pleasure chatting with
And thanks so much for having me. And
you. Yeah.
good luck on desk decluttering.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it for today's episode of the Observe Day podcast. Thank you for spending your time with us as we explore today's observance. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with a friend who'd love to celebrate life's special days too. Don't forget to join the newsletter at observeday.com/join for more observance stories, tips, and updates. Until next time, keep finding meaning in every day.